Hey, I'm Shay. Welcome back to my channel. Coming in to talk to you about this week's episode of the Have and the Have Nots. Episode 6, no, Season 6, Episode 4, and this title was The Lion. Now, if I am not mistaken, but we're going to roll with it. Now, this episode didn't give me that much. Now, we did leave off with Hannah telling Candace that this John was her father. Okay? So old dude was looking like at Hannah like, say what now? So at this point, I was like confused because Hannah was like, yeah, he's your father. Benny was like, Mama, he's her father. And they were just going back and forth. And old dude was just, he wasn't counteracting anything. And then eventually he just leave. I'm like, okay, what is Hannah doing? Isn't she trying to make a point or something? And so eventually, she comes and makes her point. But honestly, the reason they, my whole thing is the reason Candace and her mother don't get along is what I really discovered tonight after the whole spiel is that they are too much alike. So, and after Hannah explained to her what had happened after the John left, now she told her that she was, a young girl drinking like a lot of people do at parties when they're young with their friends, carefree, thinking, things are not going to happen, and they do. So she had a little too much to drink, and she and her friends began to walk home. And then she noticed this guy that was watching her. So being young and carefree, so she didn't think anything of it. So she continued to walk, but this man had other intentions for her. So, to have to spell everything out, this man attacked her, and then, of course, 9 months later, Candace is born. So she told Candace she did not know her father and she did not want this child. She hated the thought of having this child and she wanted to abort this child. Now, I'm sure that was painful for Hannah to tell Candace this, and I'm sure it was even more painful for Candace to hear her say that she wanted to abort her. I just can't imagine my mother telling me that she wanted to abort me. But I'm sure it probably needed to be said so they could start the healing process. But I guess you just have to be in the situation to probably understand what was actually going on here. And so, what Candace and her mother, well, I guess what Hannah was trying to do to Candace when she was telling Candace that John could be your father, she was pretty much telling Candace, any man that you bring up and through this room and you lay down with him, that man could actually be your father. In which she had a very good point. He could have been her father. Can you imagine that? Oh my goodness. That's just too much to even, to really even grasp. And I thought maybe that would have done something to the inside of Candace. I mean, it would have hurt her to her core to think about that one of those guys could have already been her dad. But Candace she's on a different playing field, I guess. But even though Hannah told Candace all these hurtful things, But Hannah really does not hate her daughter. She loves Candace, but she hates the lifestyle she's leading and what it's doing to her and what it's going to do to her, in the future. I mean, this is like any mother. Any mother would hate this to see this, you know, their daughter going down this road. And I'm sure some of the time Hannah blames herself for what her daughter is going through. I'm sure if it was me, I would blame myself for some of the things that may affect my daughter. I'm thinking that negatively. I'm thinking that, hey, maybe if I would have did this, maybe my daughter would not have to go through this. If I'd have done this differently, maybe this would have been the effects of the outcome of it. You just don't know. And then maybe not, but you never know sometimes. It's just a sad situation. I really don't. And so after all that seriousness, that big old spiel, do you know Candace told Hannah to leave? Do you know that? And Hannah was, she was like, okay. Hannah said, okay. I was like, this is a strong lady. She actually said, okay. And so Hannah walked off. She sat on the edge of the chair, and she took her shoes off. I'm like, what is Hannah doing? I'm thinking, okay, maybe she's been walking and, and then maybe she got something in her shoe and don't want to walk back with it in it. And so she wanted, like sometimes you walking outside, and with us living in the desert, like in California, Vegas, and Arizona, sometimes we get those little rock pebbles in our shoes if we walk outside or play outside a lot. So I'm thinking, well, maybe not in Georgia where they're living. You get them little rock pebbles out east where I'm from. And so I'm thinking maybe she got some little rock pebbles in her shoe and then she's trying to take them off. Well, I saw her take her shoes out and nothing fell out. And so then she said, so she, and then Hannah was like, huh? And then Beanie was like, huh? And then she quoted Matthew 10. And so I was like, I know what she's talking about. She's quoting Matthew 10, where you wipe the dust off your feet. And that scripture was, it was telling, what Jesus was telling his disciples, that they were to preach, the gospel to everyone, and where they were received with joy, and they stay and teach it. But where their message was rejected, they had no further responsibility, and they were free to walk away with a clear conscience now, knowing that they had done all they could do to, so they should shake the dust off their feet. That was in effect saying that those who reject them, which Candace was rejecting her mother. Okay? So God's truth was not to be allowed to be hindered. Okay? So what you do, you pretty much saying you wiping you wiping your hands with the situation to make it clear if you don't understand it. So that way it was saying shaking the dust off your feet. But to bring it home clear is saying I'm wiping my hand with you. Girl, I'm wiping my hand with you. Wiping my hand with your situation. So that's what Candace's mother was doing when she took her shoe off, and I'm wiping my hand with you, but she did another symbolical method that Jesus was teaching back in the Bible. And Jesus did a lot of parables in the Bible days. Okay, so that's what she did when she sat down. Okay, and so, I guess the next thing I just knew, after that, before that scene, I just knew that Hannah and Candace were going to begin to, work through their issues, and this was, I thought, would have been a turning point for them. But there isn't any reason, for me to, I guess, to think that it would be. Because Candace right now, Uh, she seemed like she is not going to break. And so Hannah and Beanie left, but after she left, she did have a little moment, a very brief moment in her room after Beanie and Hannah left. Okay, but it didn't last long because she was out doing her thing after, shortly after her little brief moment. Then next scene we see David. He's in the police station looking for David. Uh, uh, Not David as his son, but David as his dad, but David as his attorney. Okay, so he was running around there, had been there, he said, for hours, and couldn't find David and all that. I mean, couldn't find his son. And so shortly after a while, David's been there. We see psychotic Justin running around the station and manhandling Justin. But you know what? Any minute now, I'm telling you, mark my word, you all are going to see psychotic Justin. You're gonna see him. I'm telling you, you're gonna see him. He's gonna do something. He's gonna explode. I'm telling you now. The man is losing it. He's losing it. Wyatt and his boy Jeffrey better watch out. He's coming for him. You hear me now? You hear me? Okay, mark my words. Hear what I'm saying. Okay, hear what I'm saying. Okay. Next, I think we see Hannah and Beanie. They were in the next scene explaining to Hannah. Okay, Beanie, he was trying to tell her that he really feels that after the episode where she had with Hannah, he feels like that she needs a little counseling. You know, somebody to talk to her, and then she talks to them and express, her feelings, that what she went through as that little girl and as that adult today. So she denied it. They don't have money to go and pay for it. So, first thing Hannah would say, well, you must gonna pay for it, I don't have the insurance, So she got way around it. So instead of going out paying for it like some people who have the money or the insurance to pay for it, she goes to her God, on which I have no problem for those ladies who have faith and trust in their God to do things for them and deliver them for it. Please use that avenue. But if you don't have the faith, your faith is not where it's supposed to be, not yet, then if you have insurance, please, you all, use your insurance and go talk to someone, hopefully a Christian counselor. Talk to them so they can help you, hopefully, to get on a spiritual level, so you will get to a point where you may not have to go talk to the man. You will be able to talk to Jesus or God, or, yourself. You know what I'm saying? You won't have to go pay. Okay? So I commend those who do not have to go out and pay and you have to have insurance to go talk to someone, where they can just go into their prayer closet and speak to God themselves, and He works on their behalf. But a lot of people some are babes in Christ. Some just don't know how to reach God. You know what I'm saying? But you work at your level, that you are now. Okay? Everybody is not where Hannah is saying she is. Okay, so Hannah did that part regarding her situation. And so Beanie, he gonna let her do her thing. But the Christian, we all know that the hospital is where Christians go to get healed. That the hospital, the church is the hospital. That's where a lot of us go to get healed. Those of us who have the faith. That is the healing ground. Okay? So you all know that. Okay? Okay, now the sink man. The man, I can't remember his title. The sink man. The guy who came over to fix the sink, to fix the faucet that was going on in Hannah's house. Hannah got there. He had done cleaned up the dishes, cleaned up the kitchen, and he ready to go on a date. I'm like, say what now? The man don't wash up my dishes.